Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 2 businesses have been destroyed after fire ripped through a building in Sorell early this morning. Investigators believe the blaze started in a laundromat before spreading into the roof. It's left a damaged bill totalling $600,000.
Thick smoke only hinted at the destruction which occurred at 4 a.m. in Sorell. As the sun rose, the full extent of the damage was revealed.
Fire spread through the roof space of the building. The roof lining was timber panelling, which generally inhibits fire travel quite well.
But not well enough. Investigators believe the blaze started behind appliances in the laundromat, melting its way through washing machines before spreading into a podiatrist next door.
Certainly extensive damage to the laundromat, including machinery, and fire has caused extensive damage to the structure of the building as well and into the podiatrist.
While the front of the building is completely gutted, thankfully crews did manage to save 2 units at the back of the property.
There was no one in Unit 1. Unit 2 was occupied by a female. She was alerted to the fire when fire crews arrived and was evacuated.
Hours were spent examining the scene this morning. The cause still isn't known. Witnesses or anyone with information is urged to contact police. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
The Premier is defending the state's public health director as the government's decision-making on our borders comes under fire. Labor's claiming there's a lack of transparency when it comes to public health advice.
The Premier cleaning up, coming to the defence of the state's public health boss.
My understanding is that wasn't advice. I trust implicitly the advice from public health. That was an answer to a specific question.
That question asking if there is a 1 in 10 million chance of the virus entering the state.
That figure is probably around the mark for the proportion of the Australian population that catches coronavirus, was diagnosed with coronavirus, other than those people in the hotspots.
Peter Gutwin's adamant there is nothing official to back up that figure.
This captivation with a number that was provided in answer to a question is not the basis of the decision to keep our borders closed until the 1st of December. It's based upon the risk that's occurring in Victoria and New South Wales, the possibility of transmission into other jurisdictions, the preparedness of our health sector.
Labor isn't convinced, calling for modelling to be publicly released.
The government need to detail that public health advice so we can all have confidence that the government's making these big decisions that are affecting people's lives, affecting people's livelihoods, and are doing that in a way that's based in evidence and science.
Public health rely on the national advice in terms of what's occurring in other jurisdictions. I've long said that it's not so much what's occurring here in Tasmania that's important, it's what's happening over the fence. And that advice is released on a weekly basis at a national level.
Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
A 31-year-old woman has been involved in a frightening attack in Burnie. Police say the woman was delivering Domino's pizzas on View Road at 11 o'clock last night when she was approached by a man with a knife. He assaulted her and demanded cash before fleeing with pizzas and money. The woman wasn't physically injured. The attacker is described as being in his early 20s, Caucasian with a slim build, and was wearing a black balaclava, black trousers and a black jumper. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. A 41-year-old woman is in a critical condition after crashing into a power pole in Ross overnight. Emergency crews were called to Tombs Lake Road at around midnight. Investigations have determined the Toyota Prado left the road and hit a power pole before rolling. The driver was taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital with serious injuries. There were no passengers in the car. Anyone who saw the vehicle travelling on Tombs Lake Road should contact police. A 25-year-old Georgetown man is in custody tonight after allegedly crashing into 2 police cars during separate evade incidents. Police say the man attempted to break into a Longford home early this morning before allegedly ramming into a marked police car. He is also accused of crashing into another police vehicle in Georgetown several hours later. Road spikes and the Westpac rescue helicopter were deployed to the area. None of the officers were injured.
Police are very concerned about the manner of driving in which this male person is willing to go in order to evade apprehension and interception, particularly involving the use of a motor vehicle, driving it deliberately at multiple police vehicles and causing damage is definitely a concern for Tasmania Police.
The man was arrested late this afternoon and is assisting police with their inquiries. New Norfolk's old police station will face the wrecking ball with a search now underway for a builder. The original station was built in 1967 and is no longer fit for purpose.
This station has been closed down. As you see, the police signs have been removed. We've moved our police officers into a temporary location at 24 High Street, New Norfolk.
It's a $5 million upgrade to the New Norfolk Police Station in order to, of course, provide the contemporary building that the modern police service needs.
Designs have been completed with a building tender now open. The station is expected to be completed by the end of next year and 4 new police officers will be stationed there. 41 drivers have today been nabbed by police speeding through Hobart's southern outlet. One of the worst offenders was spotted travelling at 131 kilometres an hour in the 100 zone. More than a third of those fined were driving more than 20 kilometres over the limit. Police are promising to continue high visibility and unmarked patrols across the state. In the TSL today, both Launceston-based clubs sounded ominous warnings to the rest of the competition ahead of the finals. At Richmond Oval, Clarence was too strong for Lauderdale. Launceston thrashed Glenorchy, while at North Hobart Oval, a 5-1 second half helped North Launceston to a big win over North Hobart.
An emotional day for North Hobart and North Launceston, with both paying tribute to John Leadham, a legend of the two clubs. The Northern Bombers dominated the first term but were inaccurate, kicking 3-6. The screws started to turn in the second quarter, the pressure forcing North Hobart into mistakes as the lead went beyond 5 goals. 2 late Demons goals reduced the margin to 22 points at half-time, giving them a sniff. Any comeback hopes were snuffed out in the third quarter. North Launceston at its brilliant best, the margin growing to 40 points at the final change. 2-0 in the final term sealed an impressive win from the ladder leaders, as North Hobart's finals hopes took a hit. At Windsor Park, Launceston started stronger but failed to take advantage of it in the first term, kicking a wasteful 3-8 to the Magpies' solitary goal. The Blues found accuracy in the second, Joby Harper kicking 2 of 5 goals, with the Magpies mustering just 2 behinds. The Blues up by 8 goals at the main change. They were at their ruthless best, slicing through the Glenorchy defence time and time again, the Magpies struggling to get a kick. 2 final quarter goals saved Glenorchy from recording the lowest score in TSL history. However, 4 from the Blues pushed the final margin out to 97 points. Windsor Park becoming a fortress, Launceston conceding just 7 goals in their last 3 home games.
Well, there's a highlight.
And at Richmond Oval, Clarence and Lauderdale battled for third spot. The Roos getting the jump on the Southern Bombers, leading by 18 points at quarter time. Both sides scored 2 goals in the second term, before the home side made a move in the third, Clarence extending the margin to 34 points. A 5-2 final term saw Lauderdale narrow the gap, but the margin was too great to overcome, Clarence winning by 20 points. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
There was an upset in the TSLW today as Glenorchy defeated ladder leaders Launceston by 10 points. The Blues were pink for a day with the match raising funds for local medical research. Launceston led at quarter time, but the Magpies took control in the second and third quarters, kicking 4-1 in that period. Molly Mitchell starring for the winners, kicking 2 goals. Glenorchy sits third on the ladder, 1 game behind Clarence. In the Tasmania Netball League, the Cavaliers have warmed up for the finals with a big win over Devon at the Silverdome this afternoon. Any hopes of a close match were dashed in the first quarter, a 23-4 first term from the Cavs blowing Devon out of the water. That lead was extended to 33 by half-time and 49 goals at the final change. The Cavaliers eventually ran away with the result 87 goals to 24 to cement their second place spot on the ladder. To local soccer now, and the Glenorchy Knights are into the semi-final of the Lacos Jack Cup after a 3-0 win over Taroona this afternoon. In the Women's Statewide Cup, South Hobart recorded a 3-1 win over University. Goals from Nikki Moutsatsos and Pishon Choi within a minute of each other gave them a 2-0 lead at half-time. The Reds joining Kingborough and Clarence Zebras to book their spot in the Final Four. Tasmanian horse Mandela Effect has started its spring carnival campaign with a 5th place finish in the listed Strathmore Community Bendigo Bank Stakes at Moonee Valley this afternoon. The Scott Brunton trained gelding was midfield for most of the race in its first outing since February. $2.10 favourite Showmanship was the eventual winner.
Good evening, welcome back. 17 degrees today in Hobart. Launceston had the state's top with 18, 16 degrees in Burnie and 17 also in Devonport. Around Tasmania, Cressy hit 17 degrees, 16 for Wynyard, Scottsdale, Smithton, Grove and King Island all 15 degrees with 14 at Low Head and Strawn. On the charts, mostly clear skies over the state today, some cloud about the west due to onshore winds. Further out, a low to the east of Tasmania extends a cloud band towards New South Wales with another band approaching WA and scattered cloud elsewhere. Tomorrow the high drifts east off the New South Wales coast with a ridge remaining over Victoria, South Australia and parts of the Territory, with troughs remaining over WA and inland Queensland. West to northwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, tending northwesterly in the late morning, increasing about the west later with seas up to 2 metres, 3 metres in the west. There is a strong wind warning current for western coastal waters from southeast Cape to Sandy Cape. 18 and cloudy tomorrow for Hobart, Richmond and Ouse. Clouds through the north, 16 in Launceston, 14 for Devonport, Deloraine 13 degrees, 15 in Burnie, 16 for Strawn and Curry, with 17 degrees in St Helens and Swansea, 15 for Whitemark. A fine day expected for Tasmania on Monday. Statewide showers on Tuesday morning, contracting to the west and the far south later on, with those showers continuing for the west and the south Wednesday, but pretty fine elsewhere. Taking a look now at your major centres, 22 degrees in Perth tomorrow, 24 in Adelaide, sunny and 20 for Melbourne, 20 also for Sydney, some clouds there, and a top of 25 for Brisbane with 29 degrees in Cairns. And a lovely spring day today, Lou. 12 degrees at the moment in Hobart and Launceston, 11 and clear in Devonport. Back to you.
And that's all your news for this Saturday evening. Thank you for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Good night.